Welcome to our last event of the first day at Axios House here in Davos. Thank you for being here. My name is Amy Harder. I'm the National Energy Correspondent for Axios. And for those joining us on the live stream, thank you for joining as well. Today we're going to host a diverse set of conversations about long-term strategies for sustainability success. Before I invite our first guest on stage, just a quick housekeeping reminder. We have a packed agenda, and so we ask everyone to please remain in their seats in between the sessions and as we wrap up so we can keep things moving smoothly. So now with that, please join me in welcoming to the stage Gary White and Matt Damon, co-founders of water.org. Hello, you two. It is great to be here and great to see such a full house for this important conversation. So you have some news you broke today with water.org, and we will get to that in a moment. This is their first stage here in Davos, so you're getting the news first. But before we get there, I want to kind of set the scene here for our audience. Gary, I want to start with you. So you lead two sister organizations alongside water.org, Water Connect and Water Equity, all with the mission to improve access to water. Now, in this moment, a very fractured politics, pullback in federal aid to foreign aid, how are you persevering with this mission, and what challenges are you seeing and trying to overcome?
Yeah, you're right. Not only the U.S., but Europe and around the world is pulling back on foreign assistance for low-income countries. And so, fortunately, we've never been reliant on government funding. So directly, it's not impacting us. But certainly, when all that money gets pulled out of the system, it affects a lot of our colleagues, a lot of organizations that we work with. The other thing about it that insulates us to a certain extent is our solutions are about financial inclusion. So what we primarily do in the context of water is help women living in poverty get small, affordable loans so that they can get the solutions that are best for them. We've reached about 85 million people through those programs, and that's churned about $7 billion in microloans. So what we see is the ability to look at market capital as a way to kind of fill some of the gaps that might be left because of the reduction in aid.
Matt, I want to turn to you. So I think most people here know your work on screen, but I would suggest fewer people are familiar with your work in water. Can you tell us how did you decide to focus on water, and what kind of impact do you hope to have?
Yeah, thanks. I chose to focus on water because as I started to learn about all these issues of extreme poverty, I just couldn't believe how massive water was and how it really undergirded all of these other things and played a role in all of these other things. And so this is probably 20 years ago, I kind of made the decision to really focus all my time and energy on that.
So to what extent do you think pop culture, movies, TV shows, can influence how people think of societal problems like water access? And do you think there's a story to be told about water on TV or in movies?
The short answer is I don't think that it would have the impact that I think the real issue for us is in the developed world. It's very hard to relate to. This is an enormous problem. 2 billion people on the planet don't have access to safe water, and what that means is that the water collection falls predominantly on women and girls, and so girls aren't in school because they have to find water for the family, and then you can just imagine what that does to their outcomes and their futures and their potential, and so I've never thought that kind of a movie or a show because it's such a complex issue, and it's so hard to clear that first hurdle, and just trying to get us, collective, to understand, because we've never been more than 5 steps away from a clean drink of water, and it's very hard to understand what somebody's life is like who doesn't have that privilege. It affects everything. The first thing they wake up thinking about is how they're going to get water for that day.
I think I read that 90% of your recipients are women. Is that right? So let's turn to your news you have to share with us. And Gary, I want to go back to you. You are launching a new platform called Get Blue. So can you tell us what it is and why are you launching it here in Davos, which is probably the opposite, the furthest way you can get to the people that you are trying to reach?
So Get Blue is about getting water to those 2.1 billion people, and it's doing it through really great partnerships. So we're working with Starbucks, Amazon, Gap, and Ecolab as the starting partners for this. And what they're doing and what they're encouraging more corporates to come into this, and that's one of the reasons why we're launching here at Davos, because of the concentration of CEOs here who are going to be able to hear the message. But each of those companies and those that follow will design their own engagement approach with their communities. So imagine walking into Starbucks and getting a blue drink, or going and buying a hoodie at Gap that's branded with Get Blue. So it's kind of inspired by Red and the Red campaign, and we believe it's an invitation for those companies, but also their communities, which everyone in here is probably in one of those communities as a consumer or a customer. And it's a way to invite you all in so that the revenue that is generated in that will go directly into water.org solutions to getting people access to safe water.
So this appears to be a much larger cross-industry campaign than what you guys have done before. Why are you doing it and why now?
Well, we're trying to build a movement really, and this is a moment where everybody is aware of this issue and starting to talk about it. It's gaining momentum, and yeah, it's the biggest thing that we've done. But when we talk to our partners, the biggest bottleneck is access to affordable capital, and this 85 million people that we've reached. Had we just stuck to drilling wells, which is where we started, and we were very good at that. Had we been proud with our kind of best-in-class well drilling status and stayed there, it would have taken us 600 years just to get to the 85 million that we've arrived at. So now, we reached our first million people in 2012. This is after Gary had been doing this for 20 plus years, and now we're reaching 1 million people every 6 weeks. So these solutions really work, and what we need is more awareness and more participation. Because the need is there, and I should also say, like, the incredible thing about this whole enterprise is the women that we loan to are among the most economically vulnerable on the planet, and this only works because they pay back these loans at 98%. And so it's this beautiful story of one family at a time taking on this responsibility. It's such a great lesson in, rather than thinking of we need to come in and solve problems for people or bestow something on them, it's actually just nudging the market towards them and getting out of the way and letting them solve their own problem. And it's really effective because nobody takes a loan out for something they don't want. And so they know the solution that's going to work for them where they are, and that's why this has been so successful. But so what we're always looking for is ways to raise more money to do this more. We've 85 million people. We're very proud of that, but obviously 2.1 billion is what we're looking at. But we are confident that with enough participation and momentum, we can solve this in our lifetime.
And so what brings players like Amazon to the table? I think everybody might know where this question is going, and I want to get to AI. But first, how can you make sure that this goes beyond just cause marketing and really has awareness and then results in, to be blunt, more dollars to your work so you can give more loans, right? So how do you hope that you go beyond the sweatshirts to get to the women that need the loans?
Well, water is everywhere now. It's no secret that there's water stress around the globe. There's no secret that it stresses economies. There's no secret that it stresses supply chains. And so we see corporates extremely interested in how can they participate in water, how can they be good water stewards, and that's why they're partnering with us, because our first cause is ensuring that the most vulnerable on the planet continue to have access to water resources, or to get first-time access as well. And so as the demand for water explodes around the world, we have to make sure that we're doing that, pursuing that in a way that it's equitable and fair. So we believe that's what people will respond to. And if people can, through a simple transaction at Gap or Starbucks or wherever, can then say, yeah, I'm part of the solution, and it really didn't take a heavy lift for me to do that. It's like, can we leverage capitalism in a way that throws off a lot of good? And I think that's what we're trying to say. And I think that's what's right about this moment. There's a lot of noise in the world now. There's a lot of things that people are driven apart by. Nobody is against safe water. Nobody is against people living in poverty actually having what we have. And it's just a fundamentally unfair situation that it is right now. Women will walk 100 million miles today walking to collect water. Think about that. The collective of women around the world who have to walk for water, 100 million miles. Think about the opportunity cost for that. Think about the toll that takes on them and their families. They're not productive members of society because they're having to just get water. And so this is really a call to action and invitation for everybody to say, that's not right. And here's what I can do about it. Even if it is as simple as buying a blue branded product, that's something.
How is the AI boom impacting this? Do you think that's part of the reason why, for example, Amazon came to the table? And are you seeing the demand for energy and water for AI affecting your guys' work?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, there's lots of things that are demanding water for sure. AI is kind of the latest and the biggest change, but agriculture, other types of manufacturing. So yes, it's a scarce resource, and it's always been contested in a lot of regions of the world. And yes, as you have more demand through AI and data centers, and hopefully, discovering new ways to power those and to cool those that are less water intensive, yes, I think people are interested in how that is going to, put the thumb on the scale in one direction. And we're here to put the thumb on the opposite side of the scale to say, look, all that's important, but it's not as important as making sure basic human rights or human water needs are met.
We were chatting backstage about, why you're here and the importance of this campaign, and you talk about the women that you've worked with and the girls that are going to get the water. I can't imagine how far we are from those women. And so I guess, Matt, a question for you is, what is the message for leaders here and those of us in the audience being in this place as the global elite? What do they need to know about these people that are oftentimes forgotten when we waste water as if it's free?
I think what people need to know is that this problem has a solution and that it really is solvable. And part of Get Blue is trying to connect the everyday consumer with that girl who doesn't have access, and like in a one-to-one relationship. You'll never meet her, but like in our programming, because of the nature of the loans going out and being recycled, we've driven down the cost of philanthropic capital per person, which, in a standard model is, if you drill a well, it's $25 or more to give somebody clean water for life. In our programs, it's $5 because that money keeps getting recycled and it goes out again. And so that's a very real kind of, it's a number you can wrap your head around. And if your purchase is giving $5, you've actually just completely transformed somebody's life on the other side of the world. And so that's the kind of thing that we're hoping that people can metabolize and understand, and will make them want to participate.
Because this is really like the epicenter of capitalism, whether you love it or hate it. And it sounds like you're reminding them that this isn't just charity, that you're giving money to a capitalistic system. Is that, am I understanding
you're working
that right?
within the slipstream of capitalism, which I think is great. That's what our whole program is about. The fact that in addition to raising philanthropy, we have an asset manager too. So we actually raise debt and equity capital in the US and Europe, and then we use that to supercharge these loan portfolios around the world. So I think that's what we're saying. Use philanthropy catalytically to do some of the market correction, the nudge to the market, the technical assistance you're needing to bring in these financial institutions to do this, and then work within that slipstream of capitalism and assets to make it all happen.
Yeah, every $1 that you give to water.org leverages $20, right? And from the market. So that kind of impact, and the hope is with Get Blue that it's this consumer-facing initiative that people will learn more about our work and what we're doing, will feel really good about putting, kind of purchasing with a purpose, and all things being equal, they'd rather pay for a product that's related to GetBlue than not.
Can we expect more corporate sponsors to sign up maybe after
That's
this
what
week?
we're here for. Yeah, that's what we're here for.
If we're doing our job.
Yeah, we've got, kind of the initial 4 horsemen. We're trying to raise an army, and we have on-ramps for everyone, and we really do feel like it can bring value to people's businesses, but we need them to buy in and come along.
We have just a few moments left, so I want to transition to a concluding lightning round of Would You Rather. Are you guys ready?
This is not going to go well.
This is all for you.
No, Gary, you also have to participate. So would you rather solve problems 100 years ago or 100 years from now?
100 years from now.
100 years from now.
Would you rather live in a real-life version of Waterworld or Castaway? Water-themed movies. If you
Castaway.
didn't get
Castaway.
Well, we've established that Matt's an introvert. Well, all 3 of us are introverts, so I think we would all want to chat with Wilson and Castaway.
We all need our Wilson.
Yes. And the final question, would you rather change the past or see the future?
See the future.
See the future.
Well, with that, I want to say thank you, gentlemen, for this time.
Thank you.
Thank you.